have to stay afloat. It's noisy. Be a person you don't want. Can somebody take me other thing? Going to do. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living? I don't know. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are taking Micah to do his biofeedback therapy, and I thought I would just bring you guys along just to see kind of what that entails and how that works out. So I am about to unload the kids. We came a little bit more prepared today because last time we were not, and we were here for a while. So we're about to walk in and do his appointment, but I'll just show you guys how all that works and how non-invasive it is. What color is that cat?
It's gray.
It's actually gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a gray cat. Come on, let's get your brother. Are you ready for your session?
Look behind me. Look behind. Look behind. Look behind. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living? Look behind. I don't know. Where's the life I? Where's my childhood? Is this called living? Look behind. I don't know.
Alright, so we're gonna do what is it, EMF test? Okay, so put my feet together, and then she's gonna, and I cannot stand up. Okay, so she's putting all her pressure. And then this little thing is an EMF Shield, and this is how you test if it works. So I'm just gonna hold this in my hand over here. She's gonna do the same thing. How cool is that? That's so cool. And then she also, we tested it just a second ago with this crystal too. So if you are trying to protect your body from negative effects of EMF, then maybe that's something you can look into. And I will put a link to this in the description box below so you guys can check that out.
Out of business, so
Oh, they are? Okay.
I'd have to get you some from, they've got them from Seriously Smart. I can get them from them. That's just what I had left over.
Okay. So I can get a website, but that's really cool. Okay guys, it's a few weeks later. I had some footage that I already filmed and I lost it somehow. I have no idea what happened to it. I don't even know if it got recorded, but it was there at one point. I did sit down and did this already. So I'm going to try to remember everything that I was telling you guys or wanting to tell you guys. But first, let's start with what you guys just saw. So the first thing that you saw was the biofeedback with Micah. So you saw him laying on a black mat, and that is the, I guess, sensory mat. I'm not 100% sure what you would call that. When I did it, and when Selah did it, and when Brian did it, we all had little bracelets on our arms and ankles, and then like a band that goes around your head, and they were hooked to wires and hooked to the machine. So for Micah, since he's a baby and there's no way we could keep that on him for any length of time, there was a mat there and it was hooked to the machine. So he had to sit on that for 5 minutes, and that allowed the computer to read whatever frequencies his body was going through, and it sent those frequencies from the mat to the computer. Now it is said that it can be done when you are just in the room, but it's a little bit more detailed and accurate if you are at least on the mat or hooked up to those cords, whatever you want to call them. So with Micah being a baby, of course, it was a little bit difficult just keeping him on the mat. The first 5 minutes I tried to stay off the mat just because I didn't want the computer picking up my frequencies. But once that was over with, we kept him on the mat as much as possible, and then I was allowed on the mat with him. So that was a little bit easier. I took books and snacks and toys for them to play with, and it actually went a little bit better this time than it did with Selah, just because I was a little bit more prepared. So the reading of this machine, actually, she is able to write down a lot of things for you. And the reason why we decided to go with biofeedback is because it's a very detailed session of what your body is doing and what you're low in as far as vitamins and minerals. I mean, it goes down to like how your digestive system is working, how your organs are working, and although there's a lot of things that they're not technically supposed to tell you, what I'm about to tell you is legal, I guess. It's supposedly not supposed to diagnose or treat or cure anything, but you know how that is. Like, if it's not a drug that's FDA approved, then typically they don't even... Anyways. Okay, so what she wrote down is the first number that the computer read, and then the second number is the number after his therapy session, so his biofeedback therapy. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these, and what it tells you is if it's in a normal range, if it's chronic, and then sometimes it will tell you optimal. So let's see. One of his that was chronic was his oxidation. And it talks about this. It says, this represents the ease of oxygen flow in the body and oxygenation of cells reflected in cellular vitality. The normal range is 80 to 100, and below 50 is chronic, and his was 47. So he was struggling right there just with his oxygen levels and the flow in the body. So after the test, it went from 47, and so after she did the therapy treatment, so what it does is the computer will kind of highlight these things that are wrong, and then she's able to like click on that certain thing, and the computer sends a frequency back into the mat, which he is sitting on, and then it goes into him, and from there, it helps to have your body heal itself. Try to get around that. But it does help. And it went from 47 to 101. So that's really good. That went above normal range. One of his, his resistance, which is his overall health, immunity, inflammation, degeneration, and ease of energy flow. It is noteworthy to mention that mercury contaminations, possibly from leaky amalgam fillings, prior injuries, surgeries, or removals can present as a very low resistant value. So if you have like fillings in your mouth with mercury, that have mercury in them, or if you've had surgeries where they've put something in you that contains mercury, that can present itself as a very low resistance value, because I guess the heavy metals are not good for you. Of course, we all know that. But anyways, his was 94, which is good. And then after the treatment, it went to 101. So it just went to even better. So he has a really good immune system. Some of the other things that she wrote down on here was he was not just digesting fats very well. And then she had a few places that he was out of alignment with, and we needed to go to the chiropractor for. So once we went to the chiropractor, we told her about the digesting the fats and the animal protein, which was something that she had talked about in this. And she recommended that we take him off of eggs and beef for a while. And that's been very hard because that's what we eat a lot of. And then he just honestly doesn't really like a lot of animal protein. So I'm trying to not force him to do anything, but also trying to keep his protein levels up. So yeah, it's just a new avenue, a new journey that we're having to kind of figure out. And that's fine. But what I really like about this is that it is so detailed, and it kind of gives you something to go off of. We don't go see the pediatrician, and some of you guys can shame me for that. That's fine. We've went once since Michael was born, and Selah has been a handful of times. The first pediatrician that we had with Selah we loved, and then they shut down, and we've just really not been able to find one that we really like since. So we are actually looking at a naturopath right now, so hold on, stay tuned. So anyways, I wanted a way to make sure that my kids were healthy. And honestly, you guys, going to the pediatrician, like your regular medical pediatrician, they don't run a lot of tests. They don't do anything out of the ordinary unless there's something out of the ordinary happening. So unless you go in with a complaint about your child, like, there's just not really going to be anything done. And it's super expensive if you don't have health insurance to have any other testing done, which we don't. That was something else we decided not to do. If you guys want to know more about that, you can let me know in the comment section below. This is not a video about that, but I don't care to share with that, because I know when I was looking into a lot of this stuff, especially like holistic healthcare and things like that, it would have been nice to hear somebody else's point of view on it. So anyways, saying that, you can let me know in the comment section below if you want to hear more about our holistic health, decisions. Anyways, so not chiropractors, pediatricians will weigh your child, measure your child. They go through like a list of things that they want you to. They go through like a list of things, like questions they ask you, and then it kind of helps them figure out where your child fits in. Like, are they developing mentally? Are they their fine motor skills, things like that. So I don't discount that, because it is nice to know if your child is where they're supposed to be, like where other children their ages are supposed to be. But also, every child is different, so sometimes that can like freak you out. So anyways, the biofeedback therapy is super detailed, and it is able to tell you kind of what's going on inside of your body without being invasive. It's not super expensive, at least it's not at the place that we went. I'm not sure about other places. It was only $50 or $60 for Micah to do this, and no pain at all. I mean, the only pain that he had to go through was having to try to stay on a mat for the entire time. Like, no big deal. Okay, so I'm having to lean down so that I'm not like taller than the camera. So bad posture. With all of these details, we are able to address our children's health a little bit better than just like an overall health screen, I guess, like a physical. I was able to find out like his vitamin and mineral deficiencies, and he was very low in his minerals, which makes sense because he's a baby and he doesn't eat a lot of vegetables right now, because I don't puree them. So what he gets is just stuff that we've cooked and is softened for him a little bit. We're still doing like the baby-led weaning type stuff, and then of course he's not breastfeeding anymore, so he's not getting any minerals from me. So we did decide to supplement with a liquid mineral supplement, which is very tasty. I'm taking it, Salah's taking it. We're just giving him a smaller dose, and it seems to be okay. He likes it and he'll take it, so that's good. And then, like, I don't know, some things I think with kids are a little bit harder than adults because they do grow so fast. So if they say like the bone is kind of like inflamed, it could be because they're growing, or maybe there's something on their mouth that shows up, could be because they're teething. So there are things that you have to consider with that when you are doing a biofeedback therapy with your children, but for the most part, we have really enjoyed it, and it's just really interesting because she could tell things that maybe you didn't tell her just because of the frequencies sent to the computer, and it would kind of highlight, and she would ask you, are you dealing with this? Or is your child kind of acting like this? And you're like, yes, you are spot on. And she's like, yeah, the computer told me that. So it's just, it's been very helpful. I do know that she said she's had a lot of success with kids with autism, and she was actually able to work with a child who was non-speaking or non-verbal, and also was 5 years old and still not potty trained. And he just had severe autism, and she was able to work with him for about a year, pretty often, and within 3 months he was speaking, and within a year he was able to complete full sentences. So that's a huge milestone whenever you are going through something like that. And I don't discount like therapies and like speech therapy and therapists that work with kids on anything. I think it's nice to know that there are other options out there, and that there's been some success seen with that as well. So I know that I feel like my kids are on the right track, and that with all of this information that we were given on both of them, we are able to kind of personalize their diet a little bit more, even their life. Like she was talking about with Sayla when we did hers, that she was really stressed. So and we've been moving, and we're in a new place, so there's a lot of things that affect our children that we may not even think about, and this really picks up on it, and it makes you aware of it so that you can kind of address it. The biofeedback therapy also sends frequencies to kind of help fix things, I guess, if you want to say it that way, or help the body to fix itself. And so I really like that. But mainly we use it as like a diagnostic test, even though it's not technically supposed to diagnose you. But we just kind of use it as a way of knowing what's going on in our body, and then we can address that a little bit better. So we use it as preventative medicine more than like a cure or a treatment. Alright, so the next thing that you guys saw was the EMF thing. So, oh my goodness. I have known about EMFs for a while, and to be honest, I just didn't want to deal with it that much. I know that my cell phone emits EMFs, and they're rough, and they can cause cancer. If you're unaware of what EMFs are, it's electromagnetic frequencies. And the only way that I can describe it that might be a little bit easier for you to understand is like with an X-ray. You don't see the radiation coming from the X-ray, but they know that it exists. They know it causes cancer, and so that is why they only allow you to do it every so often, and especially they don't like for you to do it while you're pregnant or breastfeeding because of the radiation. So EMFs are very similar, and we have them coming at us at all angles, unfortunately. So like cell phone towers, radio towers, your personal cell phone that we keep in our pocket or in our hand or on our face all of the time. The more I've been kind of researching and hearing about this, the more I've been trying to do something about it. So I first started with trying not to carry my phone in my pocket. If I'm in the car, it's away from me, or if I'm at home, I don't put it in my pocket, I sit it away from me. Also trying to keep it away from my kid's head. Kids are very vulnerable when it comes to EMFs, so if you have a child, like limiting not only their screen time but their distance to those things like your Wi-Fi router and your cell phone are very important. And then also both Brian and I will turn our phones on airplane mode at night. When we did have Wi-Fi, we would turn the Wi-Fi off at night so that our body is able to heal itself and it's not fighting against those EMFs as well. There's some really drastic things that you can do to protect yourself from EMFs, and that you can actually cost a lot of money. So those were the first things that I started with. The second thing, or after talking to her with the EMFs, one thing that she talked to me about was that test that you just saw, and like literally could not hold myself up when she was pushing down on me when I did not have the EMF blocker. As soon as that EMF blocker was in my hand, I felt grounded. And so pretty much what it does is it takes the waves of the EMFs that come into you like this, like they're just crazy, your body doesn't know what to do with it, it just kind of frazzles you, I guess, in a way. And what it does is it like slows those waves down and allows your body to accept it in a more calming way instead of like the chaos. So you feel more grounded. That's the only way I know how to explain it. It sounds like voodoo, it sounds crazy, but there's crazy things in this world that happen all the time, and whether you believe it or not. So I feel like once I know something, once that knowledge is there, I have to either do something about it or not complain when I reap the consequences. So I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of money, so those little stickers were $25, and then we put them on our phone. Now, I would eventually like to get the crystal like she was talking about and put it maybe on a necklace, just to kind of protect my body from other EMF signals, because I don't have something on me all the time to protect me from like the radio towers and the EMF or the Wi-Fi towers. 5G is coming in and it's probably going to ruin a lot. There's not been a lot of studies behind that, so I don't know. But anyways, I just rather be safe than sorry, and something like that is very simple. So that's my next venture, is to get some type of either crystal or EMF blocker necklace for me and my whole entire family. So anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have any questions about biofeedback therapy or EMFs in the the comment section below. I would love to have a discussion with you guys about this stuff. Have you done anything like the biofeedback therapy, or have you wore EMF blockers before? I would love to know what your thoughts are on them. If you're here for holistic living, minimalism, or motherhood, be sure to click the subscribe button so you do not miss another video in the future. Give this video a thumbs up. Yeah, go ahead, click the thumbs up button. Thank you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.